Hey guys, it's Tarot and Beyond. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Siobhan if it's your first time here, and I am an Akashic reader, Reiki master healer, and professional psychic medium. So today's reading is going to be a pick a card style as usual, and we're going to be looking at your Akashic record. So we're going to get messages from your Akash. And for those of you who are interested in reading your own Akashic record, I've also created a downloadable guided meditation and activation to help you do so. Stick around after the pile selection or group selection, and we're also going to talk about what the Akashic record is and how to begin accessing it. So as usual, we have 3 groups to choose from today. Group number 1 is the blank scroll. Group number 2 is the compass. And group number 3 is the sextant. So make your selection and use the timestamps or the chapter notes below to jump ahead to your chosen reading or readings. If you feel called to more than one, that's fine. You might even want to watch all of them and then just take the messages that resonate. Maybe you're only drawn to one. Use your intuition and leave the rest. And we'll see you in your readings. So what is the Akashic record? Well, essentially it is like this massive storehouse of energetic information. All of the blueprints for everything that has ever existed or will ever exist or even could exist are in the Akashic record. It is beyond time and space. It is the imprint of everything. So we can access this by going into the 5th dimensional consciousness. Basically, we go up there, we look for information. We have to be very specific about what it is that we're asking, why we're asking it, and the intention behind that. And then if all things are aligned, we can receive information either through sensory information, writing it down, scripting it, or even visually. So there's many different ways to read the Akashic record. Some people use a pendulum. You can even access the Akashic record through cards like we're going to be doing today in the readings. And when I used to do Akashic soul realignment readings, I would also find that what worked best for me was just to kind of tune in and see psychically, because I do tend to be sort of leaning towards mostly clairvoyant, although I have all my clairs turned online, but that clairvoyance is one of my strongest. So being able to see visually into people's past lives, past experiences, or templates that needed to be addressed, the Akashic record can give us a lot of good information about karmic patterns and things that we're ready to release or things that we need to bring to our awareness. It can also show us who we are at soul level, where we've been, where we're going, what we're doing. All of these things are in the Akashic record. If you guys are interested in learning more, check out the downloadable activation meditation, which is available on my website. It's tarotandbeyond.com, linked in the description box below. Let's get to your readings. All right, hi group number 1, welcome to your reading. You guys chose the blank scroll, so I'm really interested to find out what is going to come up from your Akash. I feel like this blank scroll is mysterious. I'm getting a feeling that there's something that is unwritten, or there's something that you have yet to do, and your Akashic record can see that because it's outside of time and space. So yes, I think that this is a blank slate for you, group number 1, and we're going to be looking at maybe Akashic potentials for what you could be doing in the future. Okay, so let's get started. I have a lot of different decks that Spirit called me to use today, so I think this is going to be a pretty big reading. So we're going to see if we can fit all of the cards onto the table. Okay, look at how it's just balanced like that perfectly. It feels like, you know, on like a sword when you balance it perfectly on the tang, and it's equally, yeah, it's like equally balanced. So there's something about balance here that's really important. You have Goddess Gaia and Ocean Jasper with goodwill. Yeah, I heard goodwill towards men. This feels like an unwritten history. I don't know why I just got that message. It's like an unwritten history of the earth. And your soul is here to help the earth to write a new story, a new, more balanced story, one not built on war. Okay, interesting. Right, so that's why I think the sword came up. It's like rewriting the old story and having a fresh approach, being able to start something new and not have to repeat the past or the history of war and strife that the planet has been through. We have Passion Flower with surrender. something big and loud just went by outside, like some kind of a truck. So I feel like there was something about, I feel like this is about surrendering to your own power, group number 1. I just got that message. It's really important for you to surrender to your own power. And that power really channels goodwill effectively when you can surrender to it. That's what's going to change the earth. I do feel like this is some kind of an earth mission. I do feel like your soul didn't originate here on earth, but you're very involved in the process of the earth's evolution and I just heard fate of humanity. The fate of humanity is something that you're very concerned with as a soul, group number 1. They did just show me the scroll you guys chose in the form of a contract as well. So it's kind of like you signed up for a soul excursion here, and that is a kind of a contract. But I don't think that you created a lot of stipulations in that contract. Like sometimes we're very specific with the contract and what we're going to do. I think you left it fairly open-ended, and I think you did that for a reason. It's this one, okay. Destroyer, this actually came up in the previous reading that I did yesterday. So Destroyer, light attributes are releasing what is potentially destructive and preparing for new life. The shadow attribute is intoxication with destructive power, destroying others' dreams or potential. Yeah, so I feel like this is you fighting back for the planet and removing some of those destructive patterns that are within humanity. I'm seeing, again, like preparing for new life. This is a blank slate. I think that in this point in your life, group number 1, you may be preparing for something new as well. And it's unwritten. They keep giving me that message that it's unwritten. So there's something here that is completely open to whatever you would like to create out of it. And the purpose of this is really to give humanity that same opportunity, because as an incarnated human, you are connected to the collective, whether you like it or not. And but at soul level, you did like it because you chose to come here. You had goodwill in your heart, and you were surrendered to this path of cleansing. I'm seeing a lot of cleansing and healing that you're bringing to the planet. And some of that is, being forced to face the darkness, the karmic history of the planet, they just told me as well. So there's something about facing that destructive power and bringing things back into balance so that there's not an excess of catastrophes or, yeah, they just showed me earthquakes and other earth catastrophes. So it's like you're balancing out the energy here, group number 1, so that earth doesn't have to go through these very cataclysmic type experiences to right the wrongs of the past. The karmic history of humanity and its evolution is not necessarily bound to its destructive qualities, and the earth doesn't necessarily have to destroy humanity to get it to surrender. It's like it can be goodwill in both directions, humans having goodwill for the earth and the earth having goodwill towards humans. So I don't know why, but I'm just getting this message of like you being involved in this process, right? Like you as a soul are a volunteer. They just gave me that message as well. Okay, so you're a volunteer soul. And you came here to, like I said, help to rebalance things so that the destruction would not perpetuate itself infinitely and then end up destroying humanity and the planet, etc. Make a wish. I feel very strongly, group number 1, that you are here to make this wish come true. Like if you had one wish, I feel like it would be world peace or a healthier planet or people just feeling more connected to each other and to the planet itself. I'm getting a lot of earth energy here too, group number 1. So even though you're a wanderer soul, which is what they just told me, that is like a volunteer, there's different categories of souls. Wanderer souls tend to be like travelers. So you go around to many different star systems. You experience many different planetary and dimensional realms. You have a lot of wisdom at soul level because of that vast array of experiences and all of the knowledge that you've gained from that. And so sometimes what wanderer souls will do is they will volunteer. They will volunteer if there's something that's out of balance and there's something that is creating more chaos than it's worth, or it's very destructive in nature and it kind of throws off the natural order of things. Then wanderer souls will volunteer and they will incarnate into those planetary realms that are in need of more balance. And I see that is what your wish was at soul level, and your wish is to balance things out here so that things don't become apocalyptic in a negative sense. You know, the positive light, the positive side of apocalypse coming from apocalypsis is the Great Awakening, the unveiling. That's actually what apocalypse means. So, I mean, we can all embrace that, but not necessarily the destruction that we may associate with it. So I see you guys really being here to make a difference. I do feel one more card from here. This is a really interesting story that we're seeing. Yeah, being in service, that's what I thought. So you're here to be in service, group number one. And I mean, you are in service just by being here. The intention, the goodwill that you brought here is helpful in and of itself. And you are here to break down the old systems. We've got the number one here. And the one energy is very much connected to this blank slate that I'm seeing. It's like this is a new chapter, a new beginning. It doesn't have to repeat in the old ways. And the intention or the wish behind creating a more healthy collective, a healthier planet where we can be in service to each other and the world. It is possible. I'm seeing the intention being entirely possible here. And I think that there's a lot of doom and gloom around the changing issues on the planet, like the climate crisis and agriculture, and, you know, the list goes on. Technology, pollution, the fear of AI. Like, there's so many things that humans are really struggling with. War, you know, for generations. And I see you, group number one, having been a soul looking down onto the earth and seeing through the mist. You know, it's like you were coming from this light realm and you're looking down into the darkness underneath, and you're like, I can help. I can do something. Okay, I don't want those people or the planet to suffer, so I'm going to come in there and I'm going to try and help it in any way that I can. And I feel like your help is very needed right now, group number one. The Tower, very needed right now, group number one. So the Tower card is kind of like the cataclysm. That's like the earthquake they were showing me. That's like the destruction. It's the destroyer energy. So you may resonate with destroyer archetypes like Kali, Sekhmet, Pele. These are gods, or well, goddesses. They're all goddesses technically. These are goddesses that are about destroying the old and using that to create the new. Now, it doesn't mean that you need to burn down the world to make it a better place. No. That's not what I'm saying here. And that's not what those goddesses do either. They are transmutative in their essence, and their service, and I think this is part of your service as well, group number one, is to be able to see what doesn't work and to choose a new way. And to let the old systems crumble. It's like you don't have to go in and light that match and throw it on the building because it's not a stable foundation. But what you can do is go and build a different foundation that works better and something that is going to stand the test of time. I see that your ability to perceive truth is very acute, group number one. I feel that really strongly. Like, you are probably very intuitive and empathic. You're most likely psychic, or you have the capacity or the potential to be so, if we see that all-seeing eye at the top there. I feel like you're also here to destroy the power structures that have kept this planet in mental slavery, is what they just said. Okay, so yes, this is part of the contract. They just told me, yeah, so this is in your soul blueprint. This is in your Akash. The history of your choice to come here is very much contingent on your ability to break down the old systems of destruction and corruption specifically. So this is really resonating with this Pluto and Aquarius energy that has been going on astrologically, and it doesn't matter when you're watching this because Pluto's in Aquarius for the next 20 years. So this is an energy of destruction and usurping the tyrannical control that has been creating more destruction for the purpose of profit. So I really see this like the service that you're very much like a rebel with a cause, group number one. And if you're not sure of what that cause is, it's to do with these themes. So that's why Spirit drew you here. And if you already know this, you're probably already taking action in this direction. But if you're not, I would encourage you to explore these different areas and how you can make a difference with what it is that you're thinking, you're studying, you're doing, maybe even healing, surrendering to the reconnection with the authentic divine source. I'm seeing like psychic potential, ceremonies for healing to combat the ceremonies that are done for destructive purposes. So yeah, there's a lot here. Okay, Two of Discs, again, balance. That's exactly what we were getting right from the beginning with that balanced card on my hand. So I'm going to put it here under the Goodwill card because that's exactly what came out in that state. So things have been out of whack on Earth. I think we all are aware of that. We cannot deny that. But it can be changed. It can and it will. And it has been, they said, it has been changed. So we're talking future potential timelines here. And from this current present moment, your soul has already affected some kind of change, group number one. They're showing me you dancing with life, finding a way to create balance in your own life is also part of your service. You may also give to other people. I feel like you have a lot of humanitarianism in you, group number one. So you could be somebody who is drawn to helping people who don't have as much as you. You could be drawn to helping people to create more balance in their life. You could actually even be drawn to, cleanup efforts, for example, picking up trash, or could be concerned with, because what they're showing me is like the big garbage island in the ocean. Oh God, it's so terrible. And they also showed me disaster relief efforts. Now, you may not do literally those types of things, but those could be archetypes. Those could be archetypes of what you're here to do and what you're doing in terms of helping to heal the planet by the service that you're providing. And now it's not always straightforward like that. We can be of service and not go into disaster relief or be working for nonprofits or doing, direct cleanup. Energetically, when you are a high vibrational being, as you are, group number one, a lot of your service, a lot of your effort in cleanup is within yourself. A lot of it is what you can balance in yourself. That is what creates balance on the outside. Yeah, you work behind the scenes. That's what they're showing me. So it's not like you're out there doing this kind of work. I mean, maybe you are, or maybe you will be drawn to at some point, right? You still have that blank slate. You can kind of do whatever you want here, but I'm seeing you working behind the scenes. And a lot of what you do behind the scenes when you're just on your own is really profound. That's part of this service. So even just focusing your intention on world peace, even just focusing your intention on cleaning up the environment, this does have an impact. Do not doubt that or underestimate the power of your mind and your intention and your wish, group number one. I see you really working at something. You're creating something. You may be good working with your hands as well. I'm seeing you offering things up to the world. You have healing hands as well, group number one. So if you're interested in energy healing, I would definitely encourage it. If you're already an energy healer, this is just confirmation for you, but you have power in your hands, okay? You have healing power in your hands. And what you can give to people is that blessing. It's like you can bless whatever it is you touch, you bless it, and then you give that to others. They're showing me you touching money. And then when you pay, it's like they're showing me somebody at a cash register and they're paying something at the till. And when that money leaves your hand, it's blessed. And that other person who touches it, it's like they get healing from that. I bet you didn't think that happened, but it does. Everything you touch, you bless it. And that's why you needed to be here, so you could physically touch the earth. Like literally, Put your hands on the earth. You're a soul that's not afraid to get their hands dirty. I will say that, group number 1. I can see that in your Akashic record. They're showing me all of these places you've been, all of these different planets where you've done this type of work. Never quite to this degree. This is quite an intensive journey for you, but I think that's why you left it fairly open-ended. You didn't want to rope yourself in because this was kind of like your first rodeo in terms of this intensity of cleanup job. But that being said, you also, I think, left it open-ended so that you could explore and be able to get your hands dirty in things that you wanted to do. Now, when you get your hands dirty and you get involved in these sort of destructive things and things like that, again, you're blessing it, so you're healing that situation, right? Like if you get involved in anything that's very dramatic or chaotic or destructive, you're healing it inadvertently. Now, that doesn't mean martyr yourself. That doesn't mean self-sacrifice, okay? So don't take that the wrong way. But just energetically, if you put your hand in something, it's going to start the process of transmutation. You plant seeds as well, planting seeds of balance and goodwill and humanity. Your intentions are really strong, group number 1. You have the 7 of discs. I was just talking about planting seeds, and she's pregnant here, and she's in the field, you know, raking, and she's getting ready to plant. And I was talking about intention. We got heads, stone heads. Yeah, it's like the mind. So you are here to really plant seeds of intention for healing. And every thought that you have is seeding something new into the collective, group number 1. Now, your human mind might not be able to wrap its head around the full entirety of what you're doing here, but you are very much connected to the all source. They just keep bringing me back to this I. You're very much connected to the source of creation, that omnipresent, omniscient energy, and the awareness there is very, very high. So you surrendering to that God source energy will actually make your job easier here, group number 1, because that way it's not being ego driven. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the ego, but it's it can sometimes get a little bit in the way, you know, and the parent needs to come in. The ego's like a child, and the parent needs to come in and just kind of direct things, the parent being the higher consciousness, the higher mind. But you have very direct access to that. I see you living in 2 different worlds, group number 1. Like you live in between. You are a medium, quite literally. So you're always in between these 2 worlds. You're not of this world, but you're here, so you are, you know, and always balancing between the non-physical and the physical. And what you're doing here in the physical to physically make a difference. There's a lot of money cards here, 7 of discs, 8 of discs, 2 of discs. These are all pentacles, coins, right? So there's restructuring of the financial system that I'm seeing here as well. This may be involved in what you do for work. Like I said, there may be a tendency towards charity work and philanthropy, humanitarianism, stuff like that. But I'm also seeing that you breaking away from the old system and being able to sustain yourself. And I also just got a message of teaching other people to sustain themselves as well. It's like financial independence is really a big part of this as well. And it doesn't always have to be based on money. Sometimes it can be acts of service, like exchanges or trades, wishing for a world where there's no destructive power systems that keep the rich rich and the poor poor, you know? It's like more equality. Yeah, I see creativity too, group 1. Prince of Swords. Blowing your wish into the world. I did see Hermes with this as well. Hermes is the god of communication. He's a messenger. It's the element of air. Yeah, so I feel like you come with a message, group number 1. You may also be a writer. They showed me the scroll being blank and then you writing on it. So there may be something to do with actually communicating and being a communicator. But that could also refer to you, like through your intention, through your mind, and through the planting of those seeds in the mind and here on earth, creating that story. Again, it's like that contract is not written. It's open for your interpretation, and you're creating it as you go along. I also heard that you're learning. You're learning when you're here. You're learning a lot while you're here. So it was a win-win situation. You get to learn, which helps your soul to evolve even more, and you also get to help the planet. So, you know, it's very balanced. It's a balanced exchange. You've got the Princess of Cups. Prince and Princess. I just heard good intentions and goodwill. Again, we've got the goodwill card already, but that's what I was getting. Good intentions with the Prince of Swords and goodwill with the Princess of Cups. So these are the two sides that are balancing out. It's good intention and goodwill, acts of service. Being here to create change. Look at that on the bottom of the deck. We've got the Wheel of Fortune. This is powerful. You're here to change the cycle. I just got that message, group 1. You're here to change the cycle. This wheel also reminded me of a compass, and I just remembered that group number 2's significator image is the compass. There may be something about that as well. They're showing me in my mind's eye this eagle actually catching the snake in his talons. That feels symbolic. I feel like I've seen that symbol before, but I don't know what it represents. And underneath that, we've got the Two of Wands. So balance. Look at, you've got like the world in your hands here, balancing things out. That's the purpose here, is balancing this all out. So something about the eagle and the snake. The eagle reminds me of the higher mind as well. And they're showing me all the eyes on this wheel. It's like fractals of consciousness, reintegrating into the whole. The different houses on the zodiac wheel. It's like different aspects of yourself. I feel like you're very multifaceted, group number 1. And the reason I say that is, first of all, because of that message of all of these different fractals on the wheel, but also because I've seen a lot of variation in what you're capable of, or what you're feeling, what you may feel drawn to at soul level. And I think the reason for that is what they were showing us before in regard to you being a wanderer. It's like you have such a vast array of experiences and knowledge that you can't really summarize that, right? Like you can't put that into one sentence and just say who you are in those terms. Like you're not a soul who can be defined easily. Okay, so it's okay to be different, and it's okay to have varying passions. It's okay to want to do different things at different times in your life. If you feel pulled over here, do that. If you feel pulled over here, do that. Surrender to your own desires is what they're showing me, but it's like soul level desires, not human desires. It's the ability to just pursue where your service is calling you to, and that higher mind is going to guide you. Your higher self, source, God, the creator, is guiding you through every step of this. Okay, I just felt called to this deck as well, because we were talking about astrology here, and they did have me put this astrology deck on the table, and I forgot it was there. So for group number 1, the 5th house, passion, play, children, confidence, and creativity. I was getting a lot of creativity from the 8 of Pentacles. He's sitting here painting, drawing, creating something. So passion for the creative arts, like I said, being very hands-on, maybe being crafty or creating things with your hands. Could be even like writing, like I was saying before. And I was getting young energy. I forgot to mention it with the Prince and Princess. These are both like the pages, and the pages are the youngest of the court cards. And this is what the 5th house rules, is children and creativity, like the imagination of a child. I think this is part of your service, group number 1. They're showing me the music notes. This could be quite literally creating music. Like I said, I think you're multi-talented. It's really hard to fence you in. It's really hard to define you. It's really hard. It's like you can't be compartmentalized. You're like a Swiss Army knife, group number 1. They just showed me somebody writing music. Like, music notes, writing music. Maybe you're a musician. This could also refer to the frequency of the earth. It's like you living your life changes the frequency of the earth. But yeah, I do feel like music is part of this somehow. I want to put it here because it feels like it goes with those pages. I feel like there's a lot to you, group number 1. You're very hard to define. 10th house, structure, discipline, life mission, accomplishments, and career. You do have the owl here, and you had the 2 owls in this card as well. So wisdom. They did just give me a message of silence as well. Silent contemplation, they said. Okay, meditation, right, is how you will access your wisdom. Group number 1. They're giving me another Greek god, Athena, goddess of wisdom. Didn't she have an owl on her shoulder? Yeah, she did. Something about the Greek gods. Maybe you lived some past lives in Greece, group number, or in Greece, group number 1. Yeah, they did tell me Grecian timelines. Venus, another Greek goddess of love. Give and receive love, find value, and see beauty. You're definitely here to heal the world, and I think that it's through creating something beautiful out of some of these more destructive things. I actually feel these 2 cards. Mars, move forward and defend the self. Again, it's really hard to pin you down, group number 1. It's like you're very soft and childlike, but you're also super wise, and you're also like a warrior and a badass, and you're here to be like this destroyer, but destroying through love and surrender to the divine plan and like being in service. It's really hard to define that. Like, you know, we want to as humans always try to label things so we can understand them, and you're one that's very hard to label because there's just so many different facets to you. Virgo, integrity, reverence, and service. Again, we have service, right? You are here to be of service. That is very clear, very obvious. Your Virgo's to do with healing as well, but they're bringing me back to the 10th house, which is structure and discipline. Virgo's really good at that too. So there's something about this balance between, again, balance is a big theme here, but the balance between this childlike sort of freedom and the adult-like 10th house energy of Saturn, which is very disciplined and a little bit restrictive, but in a good way, in the sense that in the light aspect, it can be like the child who creates healthy boundaries and structures and scaffolding and routines for the child that can then allow the child to feel safe and supported so that it can explore its inner realm or its outer realm and create something beautiful. Connecting to childlike play and enhancing the creativity. Because we need to feel safe to be really creative, right? It's really hard to be creative if you don't feel safe. And I think that's why Mars is here as well. Because it's like, for humanity to thrive and evolve, it needs to be safe. There needs to be stability for humanity to be able to heal and to be able to grow and to expand and to create more beauty. I'm feeling Renaissance energy here as well. I don't know if that's like literally the Renaissance or if this is like a renaissance of a new age and you're meant to be in service in that domain or arena. But I am getting like a new age. I'm getting that with the Wheel of Fortune. It's like there's this coming of a new age, and I think that's connected because I did mention Pluto and Aquarius, the age of Aquarius. You specifically incarnated in this time period. Like, you could have gone to any time period in history, group number 1, and I think you did. I think you may have spent time in the Renaissance. They're showing me Greek philosophers as well, so you may have incarnated into Greek lifetimes where, yeah, they're showing me Pythagoras. You may be interested in Stoicism. I just got that message as well. Yeah, they're showing me like those marble, what is that called? I should know this. I'm half Greek, for God's sakes, but I've never been there, so I don't know. The Parthenon. Yeah, I think that's the one. It's like the birthplace of democracy. So, and philosophy as well, and mathematics and astrology, or not, yeah, no, astrology too, but astronomy as well. So there's like a lot of wisdom that's stored within your soul blueprint, and it's accessed through your Akashic record. You can tap into this, and I think it's going to give you a lot to go on in terms of what you can do to be of service and how you're going to build structures to be able to make that happen. Because part of it is like this childlike, heartfelt wish. And the other part of it is doing something practical to move you forward, to move humanity forward, where you can be in service in an aligned way with this aligned, integrous, intention, but doing it in a way that's also very reparative, restorative, healing, creative, nurturing. Again, it's balance. Balance. You got the divine feminine with Venus and the divine masculine with Mars. So same thing here, Princess of Cups, Prince of Swords. It's balancing these two aspects out within yourself, and I think that's what's also going to help humanity. Okay, group number 1. So that is what I have for you today. Hope you enjoyed this reading and that it helped you. Like I said, if you guys are interested in learning to access the Akashic Records for yourself, I highly recommend the downloadable meditation and activation that I created. It's through the link in the description box below to my website. It's tarotandbeyond.com. It's on the shop page. All pricing is in Canadian dollars, and you will receive that activation through the guided meditation. It's downloadable, so you can use it as many times as you want. You can come back to it and evolve your process of connecting to the Akashic Record, receiving information that you need when you need it, and being able to apply that to the service that you're here to provide. Group number 1. So thank you so much for being here. I love and appreciate you, and thank you for being here on Earth as a divine being. It's my pleasure to read for you today. Sending you guys so much love and blessings, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye. All right, hi group number 2, welcome to your reading. You guys chose the compass, and it's interesting because this morning I woke up to something in my head. It was like a sentence, and it was something to do with declination, and I searched that word. I was like, what does declination mean? And what I got was something about like true north versus polar north or magnetic north, and how to find the declination so that you can make sure that you're going in the right direction. And then Spirit called me to watch the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and one of the main themes of those movies is Jack having that magic compass that points, instead of due north, it points to what he wants. So I feel like there's kind of like this finding the declination between true north, which is like your destiny or what your soul has chosen for yourself in this lifetime, or to be of service, or your mission or purpose, whatever you want to call it, and then the sort of want of what you desire, and how to kind of calculate the difference between those two so that you can sort of plot a course that's, I think, aligned in both of those degrees. Pun intended, degrees. It's like longitude and latitude. So group number 2, I'm really interested to see what comes up from your Akash and how that applies to the theme of the compass. Guide. You have guide. Look at that. It's like, what do you need to be a guide? You need a compass. You need the right direction. So the light attribute represents the nature of the divine and life and in yourself. The shadow attribute places financial gain and control over imparting spiritual insight. And it's interesting because the owl is standing out to me. We just had some bunch of owls in group number 1. This is like you having the wisdom to plot your course. They just said directly, to plot your course directly. So, no detours, like you're going in a straight line towards your destination. And they keep giving me the word declination again. Okay. So group 1, I'm already getting this feeling that you're meant to be a guide. You're meant to be a guide for others. You're being definitely guided right now, that's for sure. Original Self, Ascended Master, White Matthew, and Dan Barite. Grace for the Grand Gesture, Archangel Raphael, and Malachite. I'm not really getting anything from these two yet, so I think we need more information, but that's not a problem. We have infinite information accessible to us through the Akash, and we have several more decks to go through here. Motherwort with Strength. I just heard strength to pursue your purpose. Yeah, it's very much about your direction in life, group number 1. That's what your Akashic is really spitting out here in terms of what it wants to talk about. I do feel this card. Completion. Okay. I do feel this card as well. Destiny. Yeah, the Ouroboros and the laurel wreath connected there is talking about completion. Destiny, I was picking up that from the guide card. So this is very much connected to your destiny. And I just turned over the deck and it's psychic healing. We got another owl on the shoulder. So it's to do with wisdom. Athena may be important as well. That she did come up in group 1 as well. But there's, yeah, psychic healing for sure as part of this. I'm going to put that, yeah, wisdom underneath that. Holy shit. Okay, so yeah, this is very much about your original self and the wisdom that you have at soul level. That's what's going to provide you with the strength to be able to move. Actually, let me just put this on the table because it wants to be here, so we'll let it be there. The strength to have the wisdom to pursue some kind of a grand destiny, okay? There's something here in this lifetime, group 1, that is meant for you, that you plotted the course pre-incarnation, you planned this out, and it was to do with a plan at soul level for you to embody this wisdom, like being that. You might even be completing something in this lifetime that your soul has been working on for multiple lifetimes. I did just get that message as well. It's like this is the end of the incarnational cycles, they just said. Because you've achieved some level of wisdom here. Clear endeavor, like you are so clear on this goal. The Danburite is reminding me of a like clear quartz, which is also reminding me of diamond. It's like, it's crystal clear. Oh, Lemurian crystals. I feel like Lemuria was the starting point, and this lifetime is kind of like the end point. And it's completing this full turn in regard to this goal that you've had for yourself at soul level, group 2. So you really, yeah, you've really done something big here. South node, destined to release. I was going to mention the north node. Probably should have said that before I pulled the south node card. But, I mean, here it is. So the south node is your past, and that's what we were just talking about in terms of Lemuria. And the north node is your destiny, which is what that Akashic card is talking about, and what the guide and the compass are talking about. So this is like, again, it feels like something is coming full circle. They just keep giving me this message of something you've been working on for lifetimes. We've got another owl in this card that I just noticed. This one's a snowy owl, reminds me of Hedwig. This has been a serious soul pursuit. It's like you had to learn, actually, I want to say, you had to learn a lot of grace along this journey. You had to really fight for what you felt was right. You were challenged a lot, and there's a lot for you to release here, group number 2. But it's going to become it's becoming clear. It's becoming very clear to you on what needs to be released and purified. The unicorn here talking about purification. Malachite also talking about purification. And it's to do with the heart center. We can see that here. And the crown. Actually, crown and heart is what they just told me. So your heart chakra has been storing memories. They just showed me water crystallized. There's snowflakes here. I didn't even realize that. Yeah, so there's water crystallizes and it holds memories. If you guys are familiar with Dr. Emoto's work, Masaru Emoto, and his work with intention, thought, and the crystallization of water. They also showed me that same thing with Lemuria, and that's what Lemurians would do. They would seed thought and intention and wisdom into crystals, because crystals hang on to memory. You can telepathically imprint information into crystals, and then you can bury them or you can pass them down, and they will hold on to that information and they will transmit them to those who have the soul codes to be able to receive them. So you may be working with Lemurian crystals, or you may be called right now, group number 2, this is a call to action here, to go out and find Lemurian seed crystals. You don't have to dig them out of the earth. They're probably already floating around in crystal shops, but allow your intuition to guide you to the Lemurian seed crystals that you feel drawn to, because there's something in them that's going to help you to really see the full picture here in terms of this entire soul cycle that you've been in on earth, and the goal that you had when you came here. I gotta say, I'm getting a message, group number 2. I just looked at the bottom of the deck. Intensity, exposing, purging, and renewing with Scorpio. So there's a lot about release and purging. There's a lot of purification that's happening right now, and your Akash is helping you to bring this up so that it can be released out of the physical body and out of the soul blueprint, because those two are kind of like two sides of the same coin. And what they're talking about here, which they just showed me, was that you incarnated into Lemuria, and then there were some things that happened there where you actually got out of alignment with your original self and your original intention for what you meant to do here. You're very psychic, group number 2, whether you realize it or not, whether you're acting on this or not. But in those past lives, you were a psychic, and you actually did that professionally, and you guided people, and that was your role, that was your job, and that was your service. Now, what happened was, I think during the fall of Lemuria, you may have lost connection to that part of yourself. You may have started incarnating into lines of individuals who were disconnected from their psychic potential. You may have even gone into resistance to your psychicness and actually rejected it for a period of time. They're showing me like a chunk of incarnations where you actually despised your own sensitivity and your own power. So there's a lot of unpacking to do. There's a lot of purging and releasing to do. Look, I've got goosebumps around psychic healing, to recover this wisdom within you of the original self, to give yourself grace for any mistakes that you made in the lifetimes where you rejected your gift, or maybe you misused it. That could be part of this as well. You may have lost control of your power, or you might have used it to control others without really realizing what you were doing. So this is all part of the destiny, okay? I feel like you were playing out this character, playing this role of the distorted self, so you could really understand what this sort of trajectory has been for humanity as a whole. And that's why you had to go through all of this, and that's why you're now seeing it for what it really is. And you're seeing the overarching bigger picture from past to present, and then even into the future, where you understand why this all happened, why you went through all of these things, and what it was really helping you and the collective to become, which is the original self, the original self. Feel those 3. 4 of discs. They said something about revealed. Can you repeat that, please? I missed it because I was thinking of something else. They said the patterns will be revealed. The patterns will be revealed. Okay. Strength. Strength. Patterns of lions may be significant here. Lyra. I did just get a message of Lyra. Okay. 9 of Swords. Okay, so there's a lot of mental purging that needs to happen here. If you're going to be using your psychic abilities, group number 2, which you're meant to do, there's like some mental stuff that you've been working on and you're coming to a completion on. 9 is the ending of a cycle, so we keep getting confirmation that you've really had to fight, though. Like you've been fighting an internal battle, group number 2. Really long internal battle with thought, basically, like fighting against your own psychicness, having that turn against you almost, It's like your thoughts were eating you from the inside out. And the wisdom turned to ash, and the grace turned to pain, and the clear endeavor became clouded and diluted and distorted. And you had to really have the strength to persevere, to keep going despite the pain. of being disconnected from your original self. But this was all part of the pattern of understanding what has happened collectively to humanity, and you putting yourself back together because you knew you were strong enough to be able to go into pieces and still put yourself back together, to be able to fight and win this internal war of the mind. That's like a whole nother level of strength, group number 2. You're extremely psychically powerful, okay, group 2? You have a lot of wisdom in your soul blueprint. And your power to guide your own self, your intuition, your just pure knowing is very strong. If you don't experience that, it's probably because you're still working to purge out some of these things that have been keeping you kind of separate from yourself. There's like stuff that's been jammed in the cracks that's not meant to be there. There's, they're showing me cloudy crystals. It's like instead of it being clear, it got dirtied. Could be something to do with the sacral chakra as well. Third eye. I'm seeing dream time being important. They pointed me to the poppies here in this card, and then the 9 of swords, which can talk about, nighttime and thoughts. And we're talking like night terrors or nightmares. Psychic attacks may have been something you've dealt with, and that may be also why in previous lifetimes, that big chunk that they're showing me, you may have rejected your psychic abilities, because as soon as you started to become more sensitive or aware of that power, you became like a target almost for negative entities or energies to try and subvert that power, usurp that power, to use it against yourself, so that you didn't trust your own power, and then shut it down. But like you just kept fighting. Like you just didn't give up, group number 2. You just didn't give up. You're like, I'm just gonna keep going. Like the intrepid warrior, they said, bear strength again. You got to be like, you've got literally strength, okay? You are the strongest soul, group number 2. No matter what they threw at you, you did not break. You fractured, but intentionally. It's like you knew that was part of the game. It was part of the game to break apart so that you could understand and heal those fractured parts of the self on behalf of the collective. Because you had the psychic power to be able to do this like no one else could. Very few, if any. Resourceful. One of your greatest resources, group number 2, is grace. And that grace comes in the form of wisdom, okay? So this is your blessing. Your blessing is wisdom, and this comes straight from source. It comes straight from the original self, your higher self. Extremely strong. Not many souls could do this job, and it was a job, okay? They keep showing me the previous, like the starting point, which was in Lemuria, and then all through history, all these lives. And it's like you started out exactly the incarnated embodiment of your original self, completely divine template, unfractured, unhampered, like completely pure. And then the fall of Lemuria happened. That wasn't in that lifetime, by the way. That was actually a few lifetimes after. So you stayed in Lemuria for a couple of incarnations, and that's actually thousands of years is what they're showing me. So you were in Lemuria for thousands of years, and then you started incarnating into these other lifetimes. Around the fall of Lemuria, that's when everything got fractured. There was some soul trauma around that time, given the cataclysms that happened, and then you incarnated into these different lifetimes, and through those, again, there was more and more distortion, more and more They did just give me the word depravity. Okay, don't shoot the messenger. But there's something about like depravity or depravity. Your strength was tested, they said. But again, this was all part of the plan, all right? So don't beat yourself up for any of that. And that's what may have been used against you. It's like your own misaligned choices that came about because the original self got fractured. And then, the subsequent actions that were taken. And then using those things against you. I was getting sacral chakra, which can hold shame. And then that further distorting the endeavor and the course that it's like you had to fight your way upstream. Like I see this salmon or this fish going upstream. Like you really had to fight your way upstream here. But again, that's why this task was assigned to you, group number 2, because you had the strength to be able to do it. And it does feel like it was assigned. Usually when I talk about destiny and purpose and mission and stuff like that, it's always coming from ourselves. Like that's my perspective, that's my belief on these things. So when I say this was assigned to you, that almost feels like it feels right when I'm saying it because I'm channeling it and I'm tapping into the Akash. But my human mind is kind of like at odds with that statement because I personally don't believe that you would have taken on a mission because you out of like obligation. Okay, so I think this was assigned to you, but again, it's like it was a free will choice for your soul to take this job because again, you were one of the only ones who was strong enough to do it. But you've done it. You're doing it. You're literally doing it right now. I just, I feel for you, group number 2, because this is, like, I see everything you've been through. Not everything, obviously, but a lot of it. And I get the gist. It definitely was hard. You may have even battled with mental health in a lot of these lifetimes. Okay, if you struggle with mental health now, again, that's because of this job that you're doing. But part of this is doing psychic healing work. Part of this is healing yourself. I'm getting Chiron energy, like the wounded healer. But the story of Chiron, which I never really knew in full, I've studied Chiron before, I've looked it up, I've researched it, but I recently came across an astrology video. I can't remember who it was, but they were talking about Chiron and they told the full story and they said, did you know that, yes, he was the wounded healer, he was immortal, and he went around healing other people, but he was hit with a poison dart and then, or arrow or something, and then he was in constant excruciating pain, but he couldn't die. And he also couldn't heal himself. So he was like stuck in this feedback loop of being constantly in pain, but not being able to get rid of it or heal it, and only being focused on healing other people. But in the end, what ends up happening is that he finally chooses to transfer his immortality to someone else and completely embrace and accept the pain. And in the split second before he dies, he's able to transmute that pain. He's able to bear it because he's so strong. And in that moment, he heals it. And so he's free. Now, I'm not saying that you need to give up your life. That's not at all. That's not the purpose, right? You're meant to live and transmute that pain. But what this is talking about here is having the strength to actually be able to fully face that pain and release it. It's like by fully accepting it, by fully allowing yourself to feel it, you're able to heal it, you're able to transmute it, you're able to transcend it, really. And this is part of your destiny. So I feel like a lot of shadow work has been part of your path here, group number 2. That's been like a major theme that I'm seeing, a lot of shadow work for you. And you're probably called to do a lot of that in this lifetime, but you're purifying yourself. You're getting back to that clean essence of your original self, and it's working. You are releasing. It's destined for you to do so, and you're doing it. Oh yeah, they're taking me back to this when they gave me the message of the patterns. Yeah, so you're seeing the patterns, and then you're completing the cycles. They took me to these anklets, which I've never noticed. She's got like strings around her ankles. Something about the ankles. They're telling me something. What sign rules the ankles? If you guys are familiar with astrology and like the rulership of body parts, I know Taurus rules the throat. What rules the ankles? I think maybe Pisces. I know Pisces rules the feet. Pisces is to do with psychic and spiritual healing, emotional healing and purging. Rules the 12th house. Yeah. The South Node energy here, they were talking about that fish swimming upstream. That's Pisces. Yeah, okay. So this is the archetype, but I'm also seeing Leo with the lions. I would look to those houses in your chart, and they did mention the North Node and the South Node. So if you guys are, yeah, they said that's your guiding direction. Follow your North Node. What house is it in? What sign is it in? What sign in your chart rules Pisces, but specifically also just the 12th house in general is ruled by Pisces, even if you have a different sign in that house. And your Leo house, yeah, okay, so like I'll give you an example. My Leo house is the 3rd house, which rules communication, short distance travel, neighbors, neighborhood, technology, and then my Pisces house is the 10th, which is to do with career. And I communicate for a living online. And Pisces is all about spirituality. I talk about spirituality. So this is kind of what they're talking about in the North Node as well. So checking those areas, I think, will be a kind of like a guidepost for you, group number 2. They're saying it's resources. There's resources in the information in your astrology chart. I'm not an astrologer, but I'm very, very fascinated by it, and I've been studying it for years, just kind of like piecemeal, bit by bit. But yeah, so they said revelations, and they told me the swords. Yeah, there's revelations of the mind, purging and clearing the worms and all this yuckiness in the mental space here. You may be removing parasites from the mind. Yeah. Distorted ego tendencies, patterns, and the entity attachments that kind of just, reflect that back to you. You're doing a lot of mental healing here. I'm seeing, they're showing me light entering into the crown chakra and going through the brain, like cosmic light, cosmic activations or radiation going through the brain. It transmits through the skull and it's activating. Interesting. Huh, okay. Yeah, now they just showed me the roots here and the roots here as well, like the roots growing out. So the roots kind of, they look like dendrites. They look like neurons in the brain. You're shifting your neuronal structure, neuroplasticity. Yeah. And you're healing the fragmentation of the neural pathways that were connected to that weakness of will or the ego distortions or the rejection of your spiritual gifts. Very interesting, group number 2. This is just wow. So yeah, I think that what we're looking at here is pretty intense, but hopefully this information will help you to address some of these things that you're like finalizing in this lifetime. This is the end lifetime, so you will have accomplished this task by the end of this life. You have come a long way in this life, I can see, and they're giving you grace to really kind of finalize some of these things. They are going to give you the resources, like they said. A lot of that will be found in your natal chart, so they're really recommending astrology for you, group number 1. Group number 2, sorry, I don't know, I keep saying group 1. And the psychic healing will be complete in this lifetime. Clear mental clarity. You're going to have a lot of mental clarity. Where you may have had a lot of distortion before. Yeah, they just told me like OCD, ADHD, phobias, okay, we're going even further, like bipolar, schizophrenia. Like these are like some serious mental health things that we're talking about here. And you may not have experienced all of those in this lifetime, maybe some, but this is like from those chunk of lifetimes where things got really dark, and the reverberations of that out through the rest of your incarnational cycle were really heavy. So you were really carrying a lot here in terms of the fractured mental space. And the consciousness has had to take a lot to put it back together, but you are doing it. You've done it. There's still more to do, but you've really done a lot of it. I can see group number 2. So there's going to be mental healing. This finalization of the cycle will complete that. And you'll be able to have peace again, like peace in your mind, peace in your dreams. Yeah, just peaceful state of consciousness, clear. And if you feel called to guide others, do so with integrity. Could be part of your destiny. Teaching other people how to do this psychic healing, but even if you're not called to do that directly, the strength and the course of action that this has taken in your life is indirectly teaching people how to do that, because what you achieve for yourself, it becomes accessible to the collective. All right, so I think that's everything now. Yep. All right. So group number 2, that is the reading. Just like mind-blowing to me, but really cool. And I'm just amazed at your strength and your ability to persevere, group number 2. So I want you to give yourself a pat on the back or a pat on the head, because your head has really been dealing with a lot here, and know that you are so strong and so blessed and so powerful, and you're completing this all in this lifetime. So congratulations to you. Okay. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. If you're interested in learning to access your Akashic Records to maybe perhaps help you with some of this psychic healing that you're doing in this lifetime, first of all, I'm a mentor. If you want to work with me directly, you can do that. I'm a guide myself. But I've also created an Akashic meditation and activation to help you guys to get into this state for yourself. And it's really affordable. It's through my website, which is linked in the description box below. And I hope that it helps. Okay, I send you guys, again, so much love, blessings, and grace for the completion and the healing of this psychic realm. I love you guys, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye. All right, hi group number 3, welcome to your reading. You guys chose the sextant, and when Spirit had me choose this, I've seen this instrument before, but I never really knew what it was, so they had me actually Google what the heck is a sextant? I mean, I didn't put that in specifically, but anyways, point being is that I learned that what it does is actually measure the angle from the horizon to points of, stars. So it can give you information about the direction that you're going and how long that's going to take, I think. So it's something to do with latitude and longitude. It's like finding your point in space and being able to navigate from there. So that's why a lot of sailors used to use it, and sometimes they still do, even though I think more often than not now we have GPS systems and satellite tracking and things like that. But yeah, I wanted to mention that because there's something about that here that's obviously relevant, and we're going to find out what that is from your Akash. Okay, right off the bat we have Goddess Freya and Amber with the Untamed. Untamed. I'm getting like freedom. Yeah, freedom. Divine Alchemy as well, Ascended Master Mary Magdalene and Aqua Aura Quartz. These are both divine feminine energies, Mary Magdalene and Freya. Yeah, I do feel like there's one more in this deck. Descending Power, Ascended Master Lao Tzu and Zincite. Okay, let's just get some more information. What is this message from group number 3's Akashic Record, Spirit? What is this message? Well, there's actually 2 there, so go with those. Arnica, Teacher. Dragon's Blood, Anima Mundi. Yeah, I think we're going to keep going because I'm still not really getting anything yet. Fresh Approach. This card's been coming out in a lot of the readings lately. That tends to happen, if there's like certain messages that come up repeatedly in different readings around the same time. It's like a collective theme or energy that we're working with. fresh approach. Be in service. Okay. Avenger. Light attributes are desire to balance the scales of justice, righteousness on behalf of society or oneself. The shadow attribute is resorting to violence in the name of a cause. It's interesting that he's got this map wrapped around his shoulders like a cape. So I do feel like there's something to do with finding your point in space and being able to navigate. And I think that this is to do with like a form of service where you're protecting people. I feel like you're the leader of a pack, group number 3, or you're meant to be. Something about wild, like this wild energy, like a wolf, but being in control or being able to lead others in that. Almost feels like anarchy, like being an anarchist. I mean, not literally, but what they were showing me was like Guy Fawkes, like the Guy Fawkes Day. This guy was looking like Guy Fawkes to me, and they were talking about the untamed descending power in the wolf. So it feels to me almost like this, there's something about like being an avenger in a dystopian like hellscape. What is this? What in the world are we talking about here? This is very different than the other 2 readings, but I'm really intrigued. Chiron, hurt and heal. We were talking about Chiron in group 2, and when I pre-shuffled, after that reading, going into this one, Chiron fell out of the other deck, out of this deck, Chiron fell out, and now we have Chiron again. So it was meant for you. I thought it was meant for group number 2. And I was almost going to take a picture of it and like insert it in their readings video to show them more confirmation, but I didn't feel like it was necessary. And I think it's because it was for you, group number 3. The wounded healer, that's Chiron. The archetype of Chiron is the wounded healer. But I'm seeing you as like the wounded teacher. And you are like the lifeblood of something. I just got that message as well. And you like take dark power and you transmute it, you alchemize it through like this wild spirit. I don't know what to make of this. It's like wild. It's wild. It's very wild. I do feel this card. 11th house, friends, like-minded groups, and humanitarian beliefs. I feel like the wolf pack, they just keep giving me like that wolf pack, being the leader of a wolf pack or like some kind of an anarchist group. You may have done that in a past life. Okay, since we're doing an Akashic reading, that may be the case. You could have quite literally tried to lead a movement against some kind of dystopian power in a previous lifetime, and that was like your way of being in service, but maybe it just didn't, it was like too wild and it got out of hand. Like you got off course or something like that. Like resorting to violence is never the answer. That may have been something that happened. Blood may have been shed. Group number 3. Because the wolf is a vicious protector. And you may have been a leader in something like that. They were showing me Guy Fawkes. So, you know, I mean, we could argue all day about whether it was justified and what he did was good. You know, he's portrayed a lot as a hero, but I don't think resorting to violence is ever the answer. But I mean, that's just me being more of like a pacifist. So it's just interesting. Queen of Discs. Okay. 9 of Wands. Okay, hold on. Actually, she naked. Just put her there. 9 of Wands. The 9 of Wands does feel, I always kind of associate that card with the wounded warrior. You may even have been wounded. They're showing me so much stuff here. They're showing me like war as well. Like you may have been a soldier in a previous lifetime. And there was bloodshed there too. But again, it was like you were part of this group of like-minded people fighting for your cause, fighting for your country. So your soul has a lot of wisdom, group number 3, on war and like these distorted power structures. They just said specifically government, because government, military, those are like two kind of sides of the same thing. And okay, it's interesting because in some lifetimes it feels like you were against that. In other lifetimes it felt like you were on that side. So it's like you kind of, to karmically understand both sides, that's how karma works. You kind of do both and get a little sampling of both so you can understand the bigger picture, the two sides of duality, so that you can come into unity. This is what actually helps you to alchemize these lessons and to be of service in a more aligned way. So I think in this lifetime you're taking a fresh approach. It's like you did those two sides of the story and you were like, okay, neither of those really resulted in exactly what I had intended. So I'm going to balance these scales of justice. They just took me back there, and the scales of justice is karma. So it's like it's balancing out now. And you were able to understand what didn't work. And now this righteousness is not going to be misdirected or distorted. It's like now it can actually be maybe what you're meant to teach about or to lead. I just get like leadership energy. But you've got to make sure that you're doing it aligned, you know? Prince of Discs. They just said take your time. Queen of Discs and Prince of Discs, so very physical. Okay, they were showing me her, like this lady over here concocting something out of like flowers, flower essences, something like that. So this could even be instead turning towards healing instead of battling, instead of like fighting against. It's like choosing to opt for a different approach, a fresh approach, which in this case may be using plants as medicine. I just keep getting that like natural, they're showing me like the seaweed here, so could be using different types of seaweed, different flower essences, alchemizing, like extracting the power within those and being able to use those. But it's taken you a long time to get to this. With this, they just gave me a message. Okay, this is a whole other, well, it's connected to this, but this is a whole other thing. They're showing me that this karma, these two like sides of the equation in these previous lifetimes have left you with kind of like soul blueprint wounds, and some of those choices that led to bloodshed have led to blood disorders, or may have led to some blood disorders. They're just telling me about this right now, group number 3. So there's something in your blood that may be off or like wounded, or you need to do some blood purification or transmutation. And in this lifetime, you're being directed to do that through some kind of a holistic approach, or through herbs, or through plant medicine, or through, like working with nature to heal yourself. It's symbolic, and the reason that this is important is because in those previous lifetimes it was all about war and battle and like force. And so in this lifetime, going and doing like surgery or doing something really intensive would be like war and battle and force all over again, just at a more internalized and physical level. So I just noticed 2 of discs on the bottom here, balancing out the scales, physically. And so in this lifetime, it's not about going to war with your body. It's instead about healing through a balanced approach, so that you're not coming from this wounded place anymore and kind of putting yourself into deficit, or putting yourself into a position where you're creating more harm than good. Yeah, they're showing me like needles and blood. That's so weird. Okay, sorry, I forgot to mention this symbol, but now they're reminding me. Anytime that I forget something, Spirit will bring me back around to it, thankfully. They were showing me the mountains in these 2 cards. Okay, so we had the mountain here and here. And now you have this mountain card, challenges and achievements. It feels like you've kind of had to overcome, they just said self-righteousness, overcoming self-righteousness and taming that part of the self so that you could heal yourself. That's what it feels like. So these previous lifetimes where there was a lot of self-righteousness, success and pride. Yeah, pride, a lot of pride. Pride in your country, pride in your beliefs, pride in things that it almost became extreme. You know, it became too extreme. It was unbalanced. It leaning way too far over to one side or the other. They're showing me like political parties, you know, becoming too dogmatic. That's the right word for it, dogmatic. And Spirit made a joke. They said dogmatic, and then they pointed at the wolf because it's like a dog. Okay, Spirit. They're funny. They said bring humor into the situation because this one's a serious one. Oh, yeah, that makes sense because this is really heavy. So having a little humor lightens the load a little bit. So desire and attraction is on the bottom of the deck with the snake as well. So this, yeah, it feels like this was something that you really kind of got wrapped up in and it became very distorted, group number 3. And then you went into this distorted avenger type where you were willing to be aggressive with your beliefs because it was coming from that self-righteous place. You've had to really work hard to undo some of the things that were done in that lifetime. They're showing me one specific lifetime, but I think there was more than one. Yeah, there were 4 lifetimes, they just said. Kind of like 1 and then 1 and then 1 and then 1. You like alternated, went back and forth. This is really fascinating. It's almost like you would incarnate into one political party, get really dogmatic with those beliefs, become almost like belligerent towards the other party, and then incarnate into the other party and do the same thing. And then your soul was like, oh, wait, this doesn't make sense. But this is what you were meant to be learning. And I just noticed that this card was actually over here on the table. I didn't notice it. It was like stuck to the table, and when I picked up the deck and didn't see it. So stability and growth with the tree. So this is, I think, the fresh approach is that you've been able to understand these sort of prideful tendencies and how that dogma got out of control, and you're now alchemizing that into your own personal power. And this somehow translates at the physical level to your health and to healing and to what you're meant to be doing now, which is in service to yourself and the collective in a way that's a lot more nurturing, a more divine feminine, because I think some of these lifetimes were masculine. Doesn't matter if you're male or female now. It's we incarnate in different forms, different genders, different whatever suits that soul or that incarnation. But yeah, there's something here about you kind of like understanding those distorted approaches. The intention was always good, right? Like the intention was good, but it got distorted in the application of that. And now it might feel like you're paying the price for it, but I see this more as, yeah, they did just give me the phrase karmic justice, but I personally see this more as like your way of transmuting the past, right? You don't have to suffer to make amends for what you did. That's not how karma has to work, okay, guys? Anybody who says, karma's a bitch, it's not. It's just a force of nature. It's like gravity, and if you try to jump off of something high, you're going to get hurt. It's not like gravity is hating on you and giving you the worst outcome. It's just, that's what happens if you jump off of something high without something to keep you aloft, So it's just nature. And I think you understanding that through these incarnational cycles and even in this lifetime is helping you to heal. It's helping you to see the bigger picture here and to take what you learned and turn it into something else. You're finding the medicine in the wound is what they just said. The medicine is in the wound. Yeah, that's very Chiron. They said food as well. Food. Food is nature's medicine. Okay. Yeah, I keep seeing like this lifetime is a completely different approach for you, group number 3. Like you're not coming at it from this warlike perspective anymore. Those are shadows of the past now, is what they just said. Those are shadows of the past, so you can let them go. Don't beat yourself up for them. Don't judge yourself. Souls go through all of these things so we can learn and evolve. It's nothing personal, you know? Think of it like an actor playing a role. You played some villains, that's okay. Or you played like righteous villains, you know? Like the type of villains that we can kind of relate to and understand, like, you know, they're not all bad, like they had a reason for doing that, but ultimately the means to the end were not good. So it's kind of like that, and it's just a role, so don't personalize it, don't take it personally. And I think that's also part of this transmutation and alchemy that you're doing in this lifetime, group 3, because the more that you can, I think, understand that, it's like there's this natural grace and forgiveness that comes from that, so that you don't have to keep suffering. And I said keep suffering, and when I'm channeling, it just comes out of my mouth, so you may feel like you're suffering. I'm seeing you connecting to groups now in this lifetime that are really about healing, natural forms of healing, those types of things all over the world too. Like you may be called to travel to different places that have different natural healing medicines and techniques, and really learning all you can about that. And that's part of your service now. That's this completely fresh approach that you've never done before at soul level, which is pretty cool. You know, you've really kind of flipped the script here, and you're taking these two. Oh, they just took me back to the sextant. It's like you're taking these 2 points and finding your place, and then being able to choose which direction you want to go. Right, okay. They did just give me the phrase rewilding. They said something about Freya is important as well, but I'm not familiar with Freya and her story. They told me I could grab the book and look it up, but I think it would just be about the Untamed. But there's something about Goddess Freya, group number 3, so you might want to look up Goddess Freya. There could be something in that story or her mythology that's significant to the message here that they're bringing from your Akash, or that you're meant to be learning or working with, I should say. But you're overcoming something seriously big here. Like these were huge hurdles in these previous lifetimes, and that's why it felt like a mountain. And it wasn't like you made a mountain out of a molehill. Like these were actually mountains, but you've managed to scale them. And I think that there's something to be said for that. You may actually want to travel in this lifetime. I keep getting that message too, because it frees you. You don't have to be confined to one way of thinking. I think it's going to help you to travel, group number 3, because you will be able to experience all of these different mindsets, these different groups of people, instead of these like-minded sort of capsules of thinking that kind of got you into that very dogmatic mindset to begin with in those previous lifetimes. In this lifetime, the approach is more like, let me sample a bit of everything, of these different mindsets, beliefs, approaches to life, and integrate those so that you have a more well-rounded sense of truth and yourself and the world. Because you were kind of existing in a vacuum in these previous lifetimes, where it was like you were surrounded by things that were mirroring back these distorted beliefs to you, and it became like almost a delusion, you know, where we're constantly mirrored back from yes men. Everybody believes the same thing, and so we feel vindicated in that belief, or we feel justified in that belief, or we feel validated for having that belief because everyone believes it too. But it's not always the truth. So this is you like finding your objective truth, or the objective truth, through subjectively experiencing new approaches to life. And that's what creates balance here. And I feel like you're being called to explore some kind of like strange and out there ways of thinking, because it's going to help to broaden your mind, broaden your horizons, maybe even literally, like traveling to different countries and things, different cultures, so that you can interact and understand. I'm seeing 2 fish swimming here. Something about two people. This could be a partner. And they said the mountains. They said partner and the mountains. What is that about? The candle just went out. I mean, it's been burning for a while, so that was to be expected, but I feel like that's significant in what I was just talking about. Something about the two fish, like partnered, and the mountain. Maybe you're meant to meet a partner on a mountain. I mean, if I'm taking that literally. Yeah, they did just say get away to the mountains. That came up in a previous reading too, so that's been an insistent message that's been coming through. But they're also showing me the ocean. It could be a mountain overseas, if I'm translating it that way. The mountain can also represent like a peak of consciousness, and they were showing me the stars in this card, or like these little lights behind her, and they looked like galaxies in space. And then I was thinking, okay, galaxies in space, points of consciousness, the ocean fish, and I was thinking, okay, that kind of relates to Sirius energy, like Sirius A and B. Sirius B is the aquatic beings, and those are galactic. So there could be something about exploring that. Yeah, they did just say part of your heritage. And they did give me the message again about illumination through traveling. Different societal structures, different perspectives. And then it's like you see something, you see it clearly. The fog clears because you're up above it. Elevation, elevating yourself instead of descending. You're elevating. Ascending. They're showing me somebody in a plane as well. Yeah, so I think travel is a big part of this lifetime group, number 3. Or just getting to a higher state of consciousness, because that's what it can represent as well. Okay, let me see. What else? Okay, they just said there's a theory that is unexplored. Go find it. I don't know what to make of that, but there's a theory that is unexplored. Go find it. I feel like spirit just threw you a bone and you're like this wolf chasing after it, or you're meant to. I don't know. But there's something here. There's a theory they want you to explore. There's a new line of thinking they want you to explore. And it's going to help you to overcome some challenges. I think they may be physical challenges, because they're taking me back to all of these earth energy cards with the queen, all the discs, all the pentacles. So this could be something, again, to do with physical healing. They could be actually trying to get you to find a teacher who can help you to heal physically and to raise your consciousness too. So it's kind of like, as you heal physically, you raise your consciousness. It's like those two are kind of tied together for you, group number 3. And they keep showing me the clouds. So yeah, the clouds can represent clearing the mind, getting clarity of thought. It's also something that's up high. So yeah, ascension. They showed me Jack and the Beanstalk. And earlier they were showing me the white rabbit in the Queen of Discs card. And this was reminding me of Alice in Wonderland. So in Alice in Wonderland, she goes down into the rabbit hole, and in Jack and the Beanstalk, he goes up into the clouds, into the giant kingdom. They both have challenges that they have to overcome. So again, it's like you've kind of been on both sides of the fence here. You've gone down, you've gone up, and now you're kind of just balancing those out. They're showing me the open gate. So this feels like adventure. You're being called by the spirit of the wild, they just said. They keep saying rewild yourself. Maybe society was what caused this destructive tendency in some of these past lives. Yeah, they did society. They did show me that, and it's like these groups. Okay, so maybe like getting back to nature is what you're called to do in this lifetime, and finding a teacher who you resonate with who can help you do that is something they're advising. Because that puts you back into connection with your truth. They keep saying that, connection with your truth, and how you're going to alchemize all of this that we're talking about here. Very interesting. Getting back to basics, they just said, yeah. Okay. Yeah, especially if you're working with that pride energy. I mean, it would be going the opposite route where it's like you're kind of going back to nature, back to basics, the bare necessities, not really relying so much on the external societal the societal indicators of success. You know, the shiny car, the fancy house, the bags and stuff. It's like being able to kind of not deprive yourself, but just find value in other things. And I think that's why there's energy of rewilding being so emphasized in this reading. So I think that's everything, group number 3. I mean, I could probably go on, but it feels like this was a lot, so I don't want to overwhelm you. But I do encourage you to tap into your own Akash. Take everything here with a grain of salt. Just take what resonates. These are general readings, not personal readings. But I do encourage you to find out some information or ask the right questions and get into your Akash to find that. So I've created a downloadable guided meditation and activation to help you through the process of getting into the Akash and being able to seek and find these answers for yourself. The power and all the information you need is within you, and you can trust yourself to access that, okay? All you have to do is have awareness of what you're asking about, pure intention, and then allow yourself to receive the information in whatever way it wants to come through. So if you guys are in need of that, I have that downloadable activation and meditation for you at an affordable price, which you can find through my website. It's linked in the description box below. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. I'm sending you so much love and healing for this lifetime and beyond, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye.